After Bihar, Kerala is now gearing up for a major electoral overhaul. The Election Commission of India has decided now to roll out the Special Intensive Revision Drive, the SIR, which is being protested in Bihar, now in Kerala. In fact, it's to be completed ahead of the 2026 Assembly elections in Kerala. Now, this the revision itself, SIR, has triggered a heated political debate in Kerala over the Election Commission's plan, while the BJP and poll officials defend it as necessary for fair elections. Both the Congress and the UDF, the Congress-led UDF in that state currently. At this point, we're looking at the left government there who've hit the streets in protest. The left accused the BJP of attempting to weaponize the revision for electoral gains, while the Congress has called the move a BJP conspiracy, warning that lakhs of long-time voters could be disenfranchised. He argues that resetting the rolls to 2002 framework will unfairly strike off those who registered later and has vowed statewide protests under the UDF banner. Well, today the Kerala Pradesh Congress Committee, KPCC, has criticized the Election Commission's move to implement the Special Intensive Revision Drive and said that it is currently impractical in Kerala as local body polls are around the corner, and that the Election Commission is hastily implementing the S.I.R. in Kerala to disrupt the current situation in the state. Now, date for the local elections is yet to be announced in the state, but this does capture the already heated environment currently that prevails in Kerala. To speak a little about the S.I.R. implementation, what is BJP's game plan here for the 2026 state elections? I'm joined by BJP State President in Kerala, Rajeev Chandrasekhar, who was former MP. He's now the head of the BJP in the state of Kerala. Under his watch, elections are going ahead and BJP is going to be campaigning. Thanks very much, Rajeev, for speaking to News 9. Elections are all set in Kerala for 2026, with the Election Commission now planning the S.I.R. drive in Kerala. After Bihar, now in Kerala, right ahead of elections. But Kerala government has objected vehemently, saying that what you're doing, vote chori, basically claiming that you are mulling over disenfranchising many voters who are not in favor of you. What's your take on the S.I.R. in Kerala?
No, look, I think it's the need of the hour in every state, Nabila, and I'll explain to you why. You know that electoral rolls and the electoral process is the cornerstone of any democracy, and if it is strong, the democracy is strong. If it has integrity, there's integrity to the democracy that we live in. And we know clearly, and this is not political rhetoric, it's just facts, that over many, many years, the electoral rolls have been contaminated. Many people in the first wave of Aadhaar, for example, under the UPA, many people got into the electoral rolls by first getting fake Aadhaars. And I was the minister for 3.5 years, and I can speak personally to that fact that there were about 60 crore Aadhaar enrollments in 2.5 years of UPA in a hurried, rushed manner. And many of those people who got these fake Aadhaars gatewayed into the electoral rolls using the Aadhaar. So the fact is, an SIR simply means ensuring that only citizens are present in the electoral rolls, only valid voters are present in the electoral rolls. I cannot, for the love of God, understand why anybody who believes in Indian democracy and who wants to strengthen Indian democracy will oppose that. I can certainly understand why a group of politicians who have survived for so long and have won for many, many years and decades based on vote fixing, based on fixing the electoral rolls, are upset about that. But they certainly don't represent what the people of India want, the citizens of India want. And so these protests from those who have gamed the system for so many years are to be expected, are along anticipated lines.
Well, Rajiv, Rahul Gandhi recently hinted at exposing some vote chori allegations, saying that I have something very explosive that I'm going to bring out against the BJP, saying that BJP is trying to win most states through vote chori. What's your response to this explosive allegation that he's due to come up with?
Rahul Gandhi is the one person who on this planet who's not afraid of embarrassing himself again and again and again, you would think that any commonsensical man of this age, 55, 56 years old, would, after being embarrassed on 100 occasions before, would stop doing this type of, nonsensical, trivial, sort of, dud bomb kind of politics. But he obviously has a real reason to be doing this, because he wants to keep distracting away his sort of disappointed party followers, a party that is increasingly falling apart, losing confidence in itself and its leadership. He has to keep them motivated, and the only way he can keep them motivated is not by any new vision for the states that they govern in, or by highlighting the state of governance in Karnataka, Telangana, or Himachal Pradesh. Certainly, there's nothing to highlight there. And so, therefore, he keeps dragging out these random lies, random half facts with full lies mixed up to confuse people. Look, the fact is that even for me, in my case, when I went to the Lok Sabha, every voter, every candidate, every Lok Sabha assembly candidate knows that there are many duplicate voter sort of enrollments, and that is the job of the party, that is the job of the electoral agents of the candidate to go out and scrutinize it. In my own case, in the Trivandrum Lok Sabha election, 65,000 duplicate entries in the electoral rolls, my team and I detected and got deleted. So if you have a man who's lazy, doesn't understand the system, doesn't want to work hard in the system, then all you have to do is occasionally, between vacations and holidays, trot out some half lie mixed up with some sensationalism, and try and confuse a group of people. And that group of people that is getting confused, is increasingly getting smaller and smaller. But I do attest to the fact that there are still some people who get confused by his theatrics and his tantrums. And but I think the time for that is also sort of playing out and running out. And even the most hardcore Congress supporter is looking at with great skepticism and cynicism at what this party is doing, which was once upon a time India's largest party, and was called the Grand
Yeah.
Old Party.
Well, Rahul Gandhi alleges that BJP is manipulating votes by adding favorable votes to your list and deleting unfavorable ones. So that's what he says the S.I.R drive is aimed to do. Basically, EC in cahoots with the BJP, trying to ensure BJP benefits in every state. He's also cited Bengaluru Central as example, where votes were added, fake votes were added.
Look, for example, I was a registered voter in Bangalore, and I have now registered to vote in Trivandrum, and the odds are that I will be in the Bangalore electoral rolls till it is deleted, and I am in the Trivandrum electoral rolls. The crime is not to be in two electoral rolls. That is not wrong. What is wrong is to vote in two places using the same identity, and that is near impossible. So it is not enough to trot out electoral rolls with two common entries. My name is clearly there in Bangalore even today, because I was a voter in Bangalore for 20 years, and I have now enrolled in Trivandrum, and the system doesn't automatically delete where I was originally, and that is required to be done manually. uh, Regardless of whether I'm in two or three or four places, that is not wrong. What is wrong is if I use my identity and go vote in three different places, which has never been the case, and it has not been proved. And if Rahul Gandhi has the proof and evidence of that, and if he's got half a brain in his head, he will go file a complaint with the evidence to the Election Commission or to a High Court, and go all the way to the Supreme Court. But he doesn't do that. He does not have the guts or the confidence to do that. He relies on the smoke screen, hazy smoke screen of half innuendos and full lies, to try and confuse people and try and distract his own party workers from what is obviously a rapidly sinking, arc.
Well, we know that the BJP is those on the ground. Local body elections are just around the corner. And under your leadership, we hear that you're actively working to ensure that you reach out to people. Door-to-door surveys or door-to-door push is going on for you to to push people to actually register with the BJP. And you are targeting nearly 20% of the local body polls this time. Do you think the BJP is making enough progress there, challenging the left?
Oh, absolutely. I have absolutely no doubt. And I think we have, over the last 2.5 years, 2.5 months, sorry, conducted a new voter, first time voter registration drive. And over 6.5 lakh Malayalis have been enrolled. And we have a very cumbersome process, deliberately made cumbersome by the left government, because this is administered not by the Central Election Commission, it's by a state election commission, which is appointed by the state government and the chief minister. And they have deliberately created a cumbersome process. Despite that, 6.5 lakh new voters, first time voters have been registered in the last 2.5 months. And we see, look, and again, the proposition in Kerala is not terribly complex. 70 years of Congress and left, and we have a state today which is the highest inflation, the highest unemployment, the lowest investment, and is busily exporting the only available asset, which is the youth of Kerala, exporting the youth outside the state. So I think the people are fed up. A recent survey showed 78% of Malayalis are just fed up of this Congress and the CPM as the options that they have. And we are at 20% vote share after the Lok Sabha elections. And our leadership, Home Minister Amit Shah ji and Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji have clearly set a target for us of 25% average vote share across the 23,000 wards in the local body elections. And we are certainly, as a team, working very hard for that.
All right. So, Kerala is a tough terrain for the BJP, Rajeev. You do know that. Left remains a stronghold and quite a vocal force there. But about recent controversies like the Pookalam Rao, where a saffron flag was displayed, mixing religion and politics, doesn't that violate the High Court's directive? How do you respond to that, the Pookalam controversy?
I must say that we can't have two standards when we talk about free speech. We certainly can't have Article 19 being interpreted in a certain manner when the left and their left colleagues, left ideological colleagues in the Congress talk about freedom of expression, and have a separate set of standards for the BJP. Look, Operation Sindoor is an event that has been celebrated by every Indian, albeit there are few people who are not terribly enthused or thrilled by it, but it is what it is. But when you put a Pookalam of Operation Sindoor today to celebrate Onam, and Pookalam is a fundamental part of the Onam celebration, there is no restriction on what I can put in my Pookalam outside my house. I can put my face, I can put my God, I can put my leader's face. There is absolutely no restriction. There is certainly no High Court restriction about any of this. That is all a narrative that is being scramblingly put together by the police and the state government. It is absolutely absurd that the police would file an FIR during the celebration of a festival of Onam, where Pookalams are the norm, number one. Number two, that the Pookalam is celebrating Operation Sindoor, which is something that the whole nation is celebrating, the armed forces are celebrating, the 26 victims at Pahalgam, their families are celebrating, and every Malayali is celebrating, is just absolutely, I'm sorry, I don't want to use any harsh words, it is disgustingly sickening, because it tells you the kind of levels to which a desperate politics has to go to try and somehow say that they are against one community to pander to one community. And I say this with all responsibility. There is no need for Pinarayi Vijayan to do this. If he has had 10 years opportunity to be in government and be the chief minister, he should have in 10 years done so much for the people of Kerala, so much for the Malayalis, that he does not have to pander to this type of nonsense. He can say, look at what I have done as a CPM government. I have given you jobs. I have given you investment. I have revived the agricultural sector. I have created opportunities for our youth. I have improved education in our state. But because he has none of that to say, he is unfortunately, and I hate to do this to such a senior leader, but he's flaying and thrashing around and clinging to what is the last recourse of a loser, which is to cling on to this type of desperate appeasement politics. And I say this with all due respect, Nabila. I do not think any community, regardless of which community this type of politics is being targeted at, will fall for this. So, therefore, I said this in that context. I was not pandering to anything. I was not saying anything out of the ordinary. I
No.
said the police has no business.
All right. Well, there is a perception also within Kerala that there's a deliberate push by the BJP to saffronize everything in the state. And religious festivals, you have a saffron flag going there, and universities claim there's a bid to push saffronization there. What's your take on that?
I think this is the reason, and this is the strategic default strategy of the left. When we, from day one, have been talking about Vikasita Kerala, we are talking about development, we are talking about inflation and cost of living rising, we are talking about jobs, opportunity, development, education, talking about the healthcare sector, we are talking about all of that. The party that deliberately brings up the saffron flag, and the saffron flag is not something of a new phenomenon. The saffron flag is an identity for many Hindu organizations. It didn't happen overnight. For them to suddenly say the saffron flag is the main issue today for the CPM to discuss is plainly hoodwinking the people of Kerala and trying to mislead them. In Malayalam, there's a word called Shraddha Tirikan, which is to say, don't divert my attention. We are the opposition party in Kerala today, and we are prepared to have a debate only on development. We are prepared to have a debate only on the future of our youth. We are prepared to leave everything to the side and have this debate. But will the CPM do this? No, because people believed them, gave them two opportunities at government. And what have they done in the last 10 years? Have they uttered one word? And I would request the media to say, okay, fine, you hold us to your standards on everything. But ask them and hold them to a standard of when people gave you an opportunity to serve them, what in God's name or whatever the Karl Marx's name or Das Kapital's name have you done in the last 10 years, except for what I'm just pointing out, highest inflation in the country, highest job and unemployment in the country, the highest drug use amongst youth in the country. If you do any survey in Kerala today, Nabila, and you ask parents, what is the topmost issue in your mind? It is not roads. It is not highways. It is not infrastructure. They will say it's drug use amongst our youth. So 10 years on, if this is the legacy that the Honorable Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has created or left, he obviously is well invested in an effort to try and paint us as being the villains and paint us as somehow trying to, day before yesterday, he said to try and subvert Kerala culture, as if I appointed him the custodian of Kerala culture. I haven't. 20% of Malayalis who voted for the BJP certainly haven't. So when does he come off as appointing himself custodian of Kerala culture? And what is Kerala culture in his mind? It is not Kerala culture that he's defending. It's a CPM culture. So look, for 30 years, they have been successful in creating a certain narrative around the BJP. And I said this in the day one, the time for that has passed. Now they will be smoked out of behind their camouflage, and they will be forced to enter into a discussion of what people want to hear from political party in Kerala. Development, opportunities, corruption-free governance. Let them speak about that. Let them speak to that.
You know, and many controversies in the recent past. The one that really blew out was that of Kerala nuns. Two nuns who were harassed and harangued in Chhattisgarh. The Bajrang Dal cornering them, claiming that they had, tried to forcefully convert someone, human trafficking charges that were levied on them. The Chhattisgarh government, which is also BJP government there, was very much for investigating this under NIA provisions. In fact, they were arrested and the NIA court had to finally hear their bail plea. So that was an issue that people in Kerala really were triggered by, especially the Christian community who were very upset with the BJP.
this is the narrative that has been put out there, that somehow there is an organization that is against the nuns. No, that is not the fact. These two nuns, and we worked very hard to get them released from jail and make sure that the bail was not opposed, because we believed that they had only made a technical mistake, which is required by the law in Chhattisgarh, where if you are transporting a child or a adolescent or a teen across even districts in Chhattisgarh, you have to upload the details of that on a website under a 2013 law. The law for anti-conversion in Chhattisgarh was passed in 1957. There was no BJP then. The people of Chhattisgarh have decided that they want strong laws against anti-conversion. It is not decided by us. This is how democracies work. States enact laws, and people who go into that state and conduct business, pleasure, whatever, have to abide by those laws. And the state police is within their jurisdiction when they find that somebody is not complying with law to apply to the law to them. Isn't that how civilized societies and states all across the country and the world operate? That's exactly how it happened. Now, in this particular case, the infringement was a technical infringement according to our assessment.
You know, strict actions were taken against the nun. That was the whole issue, that stringent NIA approach was taken. They were arrested under the NIA guidelines. Human trafficking was imposed on them. So strict provisions under which they were probed. And that's what really led to that uproar.
Again, this is all anecdotal, narratives that is being pushed and pressed. That none of that was stringent. The law is stringent. It's not stringent provisions. The anti-conversion law passed in 1957 by the Congress government in the then Chhattisgarh Madhya Pradesh government is stringent because it is supposed to not encourage conversion. There's no stringent provision and non-stringent provision in an anti-conversion law. And then there is a separate law that prevents trafficking. There is a second law passed in 2013 by the legislature of Chhattisgarh. Now, tell me something. Why is nobody from the Chhattisgarh Congress speaking out against this? Have you asked that question? Why is the Chhattisgarh Congress not going and protesting for the release of these nuns? Why did it take BJP Kerala to go there and release the nuns? I didn't see Chhattisgarh Congress people, including the former CM Baghel, protesting.
There was a lot of condemnation, but mostly online.
Look, let me not say this. I should not be saying this because this is nonsense. Let's not make up our opinions based on some paper condemnation by somebody. If Baghel had a real agenda today and a genuine agenda, would he not be creating havoc there? And where the Bajrang Dal or anybody came into the picture was when the Congress and the Indi MPs went outside the jail and started protesting outside the jail. They drew attention to this issue and made it political. So if your entire objective is to create drama and not really to solve the problem or rescue these two women from these nuns from the jail, and all you want to do is score these cheap political points, then the unfortunate consequence of that is there are other people who will say, we will not allow you to do political drama.
All right. Well, you have elections fast approaching in the state. We know that you are wooing multiple communities. Your outreach is to the Christian community as well. But the Congress is right now in alliance with the left. Senior leaders like Shashi Tharoor, who've so far been so loyal to the Congress, have now started to show some kind of sentiment in favor of the BJP, warming up to the BJP. Shashi Tharoor is someone who you narrowly lost to. What's your take on that?
The Congress and the CPM are in alliance in every part of the country. In Telangana, in Tamil Nadu, in West Bengal, Every other part of the country, the CPM is the B team of the Congress. In Kerala, they pretend to be opposing each other. Number one. Number two, let's be absolutely dispassionate. You and I can be, and your audience can be. What is the ideological difference between the Congress and the CPM is something that all of us should think about. There is none. The leader of the Congress wants to redistribute wealth, which came out of Karl Marx's Das Kapital. This is what Mao Zedong did in China. This is what Stalin did in USSR. There is no difference between the economic ideology of the Congress and the left. There is no difference between the governance ideology of the Congress and the CPM. That is a fact. Now, the only difference is the Congress has a royal family. There is a dynastic family there. The left till date did not have one, but Pinarayi Vijayan is trying to change even that and become even closer to the Congress by having his own son-in-law and his daughter being the prime center of gravity for the CPM. Anyway, that was the point I wanted to make because you opened the door for me to that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. As far as Shashi Tharoor is concerned or the Congress is concerned, look, there is ample evidence, anecdotal, empirical, factual, that there are many, many leaders of the Congress that were dissatisfied with Rahul Gandhi and have left, are dissatisfied with Congress and are prepared to leave, and will be further dissatisfied and will leave. This has happened, played itself out in Kerala with Sareen leaving and joining the CPM. So this is going to continue to happen. I cannot specifically speak to Shashi Tharoor or Shashi's views, his future views, whatever. He fought a battle with me. I still consider him as an MP who did very little for the constituency and the city of Tirunelveli. And I still consider that. That was my view before. That is my view today. And I certainly believe that I would have been a better MP for Tirunelveli than him. Even though I lost by whatever 1,000 votes, 8,000 plus votes. But notwithstanding all of that, I think he is dissatisfied with the Congress for many reasons, and he's put some of them out there. What his views will be, what his future will be, only he can say to and talk to that. I have certainly no idea, and I have certainly no role in that.
Okay, but if Shashi Tharoor does choose to join the BJP ahead of Kerala elections, as the feelers he may be giving, as a state president for BJP in Kerala, would you welcome him into the party?
No, our view is not so much people-centric, Nabila, as much as it is ideologic-centric. If anybody today, and I've said this, Amit Shah ji said this on July 12th when he came to Trivandrum, our doors are open to anybody who wants to sincerely work and transform Kerala and also transform India. We are absolutely open to people from wherever they come from in Kerala, whichever party, whatever background, and our doors are open to all those who want to partner with us and become a stakeholder in building Vikasita Kerala. So we are absolutely open about it, unabashed about it. We are welcoming about it. We have a large number of people who have come in and are continuing to come in from the Congress and the CPM. And we will continue to welcome them, provided, like I said, the proviso or the caveat is that they come here not for a position, not for any personal, from a personal ambition point of view, but from a point of view of being a part of this movement or this thrust to change the direction of Kerala's politics and change Kerala's politics once and for all from what we've experienced for the last many decades.
All right. Thank you very much, Rajeev, for speaking to us. I really appreciate it. You've really answered most of the questions that I asked you. So candid. I wish you all the very best for your elections in Kerala coming 26. Thank you.